You're listening to The Kelly Slusher Show with your host, Kelly Slusher.
Working for a bank means I haven't left enough time for Christmas shopping. Last-minute fools like me can save time shopping and living. Their entire stock of decent jewelry is 75% off. Like these half-weight kind of tons and these carats, they're cheap. 75% off all microwaves and 25% off all slippers. So come down to blah, 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 where shopping can leave long-lasting memories, but it won't.
Hey, you guys. How's it going? Morning of good. And you're listening to The Kelly Slusher Show. And I'm doing this in the morning because I just woke up and it's going to be a busy day and it's raining. I have one last podcast to get out before the end of the year and then I'm going to take a break. And then I have plans to release all of my podcasts on Wednesdays and I'm going to give a time and all that stuff. Trying to figure that out. I want to do a weekly podcast. This has been almost weekly podcast. This sometimes it gets a little overwhelming because if you guys have been listening and you know who I am, I also play music and I'm a musician and I also have a day job. I'm self-employed. And that in itself is its own thing because I'm constantly getting work and it's kind of a funny, I should talk about that sometime because it's really funny how I should say that I draw a lot of really interesting experiences to myself. I'm really good at business and I'm really good at like getting myself out there and attracting clients and I don't know. I have all kinds of funny stories. Anyway, I won't go into that right now. So it's raining outside. You might hear some drops of rain coming from the 1,000,000-pound cloud above my head. And I talked about that earlier in a podcast that clouds weigh 1,000,000 pounds. It's so crazy. Look it up. Do your research. Go on the Google and look it up. So I have a temporary housing. I'm temporary because I'm trying to figure some stuff out in my life and basically where I really want to live and just kind of in that place. And so anyway, I'm staying in this, I've talked about this before. And my housemate was like, the other day he had to vacuum and he's like, does not get what I do, because I'm in the back of the house and he had to vacuum the room next to me. And he's like, oh, I'm going to vacuum, but I don't want to, disturb if you're going to be singing on your pod. Singing on my pod. No. Okay. Didn't even want to go into that one. It's so funny the difference of, people who are like, who get what's going on and the people that are completely clueless of that older generation. But there's generation, because he's older, he's like in his late 60s. I mean, there's a lot of people in their later years that do know what's going on, actually. And, anyway, so it's the holiday season and it's, isn't that exciting? This is supposed to be a holiday special. So the beginning of this podcast, of this episode, I did a bunch of fake commercials. Like I referenced other ones that existed in the world and I just kind of mimicked them. And that was one. And the lady's like, being a banker, it's hard for me to shop or whatever. I think that's the one I just did. And it's funny because it's like, what does that have to do with anything? We all have, everyone's going to be busy. No, but if you're a banker, I mean, maybe there's something I don't know about that. So I played a show last week and it was super fun. And I was having difficulties in the beginning. And then I was going to play some Christmas songs. And then before I played the show, I went and printed out my list, the lyrics and the chords. But for some reason, they didn't print right. And the notes were all wonky. And I didn't have these songs memorized. And so I was just having so much difficulty. And then like I was trying to tune my guitar in the beginning and my face was bright red because I just couldn't quite get it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't, people are here and probably have never heard me. And they're like, this chick can't even tune her guitar. I'm like, no, I can. Just don't stare at me when I'm trying to tune. And then I have this tuner that I bought, and for some reason it doesn't seem to be working right. So anyway, but a group of my friends showed up from my old work, and they're so funny. They make me laugh. We have the same humor, similar humor. And so, no, it's like they're that world that I'm in. And so they make me laugh. So when they showed up, everything for me kind of calmed down because they're kind of like, they're so supportive and they love my music and they're really cool. Well, I think they love my music. At least some of them do. Anyway, they're really supportive, and it was just funny because my friend, I know then they listen to this podcast too, so it's kind of awkward. But I'm just think it's really funny because we have this ongoing joke. Me and one of my ex-coworkers is, Jonathan. What's up, Jonathan? He was sitting in this chair, like there's all these chairs. He's sitting kind of up front, and they're off to the and the rest of the crew is like kind of off to the side. He just like sitting there, and he looks up at me. And I said something to the audience, and he's like, "You think you're better than me?" And I'm just like. And that's been an ongoing joke. Like that was always a joke that I would be like playing on stage and people were like clapping. They're like, we love you. And I look at the crowd. I'm like, you think you're better than me? So, and then afterwards we went to this place across the street and we were the obnoxious group. And I could tell the employees were like, oh gosh, these people are stupid because like we ordered a charcuterie board. And if you've listened to this podcast, that's like one of my favorite things to joke about. And because it's a current thing. And I got to get my charcuterie. And so they ordered that. And then I was telling them about, I was making a joke at one of my episodes about how a charcuterie was like called a smorgasbord in the past. And my mom would be like, why don't you just put some salami and cheese on there and call it a smorgasbord? And so when they set they brought the charcuterie board, and my friend brought a friend, and he was really funny, and he was like, he just looks, because I had told that joke, and he looks at my the waiter or the waitress and was like, is this a smorgasbord? And she's like, yes. She didn't even try to correct him. And then I'm like, oh gosh, I know I've been in customer service. I'm not making fun of you, lady. It's just funny. So anyway, so that was fun. That was a really fun little show I played, and so this is nice. I'm taking a little break. I'm gonna like take a little break, and I'm gonna do some recording and work on some new songs, and then I'll be back. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please give me a 5-star rating and review, and subscribe to me on my Kelly Slusher podcast Instagram, and then also on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, and all that stuff that you do. I appreciate it. This next year, I'm going to be making a lot more efforts to grow it. It's just, doing a podcast weekly it's a lot of, it shouldn't be as much work as it is, but it's the editing, to be honest, because I want it to be perfect, and it's not. But anyone that does any kind of podcasting or any kind of, the videos or whatever, the YouTubes, all those YouTubes, it takes a lot. Eventually it'd be nice to hand it off to somebody, but then again, they don't really know what I want to keep and not want to keep, because sometimes I just start talking and then I'll listen again. I'm like, why did I say that? Like I'll have said something completely incorrect and I'll take it out. But generally, there's not too much editing, but it just, I listen to it like 10 times before I even want to put it out. So I was at this farm that was, I was at this farm with a friend, with my other friends. I actually make a lot of new friends, like through my job, like through my employment, my self-employment. I make a lot of new friends and people and acquaintances, and so I met some new people through that, and went to this farm, and I couldn't believe it was in the middle of this, town, the city, whatever, and it was amazing. But we're out, so we go and we're hanging out, and we go by the chickens, and we're looking at the chickens, and this one chicken's got like, it looks like Elvis Presley or something, because it has like this crazy, like it looks like it had bell bottoms on, and it was like, whoa, did you hear that? That was my water bottle, like my big 5-gallon water bottle, at making adjustments. He was agreeing with me. So the chicken was funny, and I was laughing about that. And then my friend Heidi, can I say your name? Yeah, no, she gave me permission. Yes, Heidi. She's like, she looks at me, she goes, she looks at me and she's like, don't tell any. She's like, hey, these chickens, they're kind of bad vibes. They're just kind of bad vibes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're chickens. She kind of want to tell me, I don't scare one of the people there had a kid, and like, I don't want to say anything in front of the kids, but these chickens, they're just got bad vibes. I couldn't stop laughing about that, and I'm like, yeah, the chicken has bad vibes, and she was being serious. So, let's see. Let's play another little thing, because it is supposed to be holiday special, but, hey guys, you get what you get. Just kidding.
Monday, Meeka Napkins comes home for a touching holiday story. She's a socially awkward shut-in struggling to gather her family for Christmas. I want to gather my family, and I'm struggling to gather them to come home so I can ask them, where's my popcorn that I bought last week, family? And while you're up, can you grab me a pop? It shouldn't take a miracle, but it will. On Christmas Eve, watch this show at 8 p.m.
So that is a sketch I did. Meeka Napkins is a character that I've been doing for years, and she's funny. I've got her on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. She wears this, like, the wig just gets worse every single time I put it on. It's just matted, and she wears like the big 80s glasses, the thick ones, and then she's always wearing like some kind of sweatshirt that's got some little like teddy bears on it. And anyway, so I'd like to do more. I kind of miss doing Meeka Napkins. I got on this whole Meeka Napkins kick for years. Like, there's a bunch. So that was 2014. I got really into Meeka Napkins. I was living in Portland, and I didn't have a lot going on. I was kind of in this like interim of like not knowing what to do with music, and so I just did Meeka for like 6 months. So I have a lot of her videos, and then I started incorporating Debbie Nancy. So Debbie Nancy, she's the type A personality. She's a manager, and then she also she works actually she volunteers at the head of the HOA, and she thinks she's very important head of the HOA in the neighborhood, and she lives in Gold River, also she probably lives in the Fair Oaks Bluffs. Like, if you know anything about this, there's a certain community, it's a certain type of people. She lives over there. Anyway, so Meeka Napkins, I brought her back for this little, this holiday special. Come watch Meeka Napkins. Is she gonna find her family? And when she does, she's like, I need to get my popcorn, family. Give me my popcorn. And while you're up, can you grab me a pop? I mean, whatever. Okay, anyway, it's a Christmas miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. How many times you farted? Oh, and this other thing happened. I was hanging out at my show. This is so, I can't believe I said this. So my friend Jonathan, who was at my show, he had showed up, and we were talking a little bit in the beginning before I played, and there was already a performer playing, and we're standing by the register a little bit, and we're just kind of talking, and the young woman at the register said, did you guys get your orders? And I said, oh no, I'm playing tonight. Me and my friend are just standing here rapping. I said that. We're just rapping. It's like all of a sudden my 1980s mom, like some mother, like some like mom from like the oh yeah, I'm hip. I'm just rapping. Like Debbie Nancy came out. Like, oh no, we're just over here rapping. What? I was like, I can't believe I just said that. The girl was probably like, wow, she's rapping over there, which means talking. But it used to be a way to say it, but you don't say that. That's just like, you don't say that. But I did. You don't fart at your friends for 5 hours and your friend's presents for 5 hours, and you don't say, "Hey, I'm over here rapping." I did this show called The Smelly Show. It's a puppet show. I hate to say puppet because it doesn't give it justice. I mean, it'd be like the Muppets, like they did their whole thing, and it was really something I'm very proud of, and it's on YouTube. It's called The Smelly Show. We did a Christmas special. I advise you to go check it out if you want any kind of more Christmassy stuff before all the season ends. I think we're already burnt out. I can only do it so much, but I really haven't caught up on my Christmas movie binges yet.
'Tis the season for savings. 'Tis the season for savings. 'Tis the season for savings. 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 Savings.
So I laugh at that. I think that's so funny. 'Tis the season for savings, for savings. Whenever you hear it all the time, because I'm always keeping my ears open for just fake ads and things that inspire me. But you hear that so often. It'll start with a jingle, jing, jing, jing. 'Tis the season for savings. This holiday season, save big of all stuff. And then 25% more off of all stuff, and then more stuff. And then woohoo, 'tis the season for savings. It's so stupid. You hear it all the time. The guy from Diners, Dives, and what is it? Drive-ins, Diners. Someone needs to tell him, you know what? I really got some advice for you. The blonde. I don't like that bleached blonde. When guys do the bleached blonde, I don't find it attractive. It's a thing, just the full bleach, like white bleach. For some reason, I don't think it looks good on men. A little bit maybe, but not fully what he does. He's obviously has dark hair, just saying. He should probably rethink that. But it's probably part of the appeal. People are oh my gosh, hey, he kind of looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You know what? I'm gonna go to these restaurants. No, I know people love this guy, and I've just I've offended 70% of the population. Maybe 50%. No, I would say more 40% of the population. How many people actually watch that show? And how much food can one eat? I bet he's got GERT. Do you think he's got GERT? The heartburn? He has to take Tums all the time. There's that little clip on YouTube, on the YouTubes, that it's that Nintendo 64. And I don't think this one needs to be circulated again, because I don't think people remember it. But it's a little kid. It's when was that? The 90s? Little kid, and he gets his present, and it's he opens the present, and it's a Nintendo. He's it's a Nintendo 64. Oh my God, 64. Oh. And he's losing it. He's yes, yeah. And the kid's sister, she goes in there and she starts going. They're yes, yes. I guarantee that kid now is a big gamer. You think? If that was you, whoever you were, and it's on YouTube, it's somewhere. If that was you as a kid, I want to know what you're doing now. I wonder if they're that wasn't me. I don't know who that was. Because it is kind of embarrassing. It's kind of like that. The kid, kids, how dorky. It was really, it's so good. And then in the Smelly Show, I mimicked that, where Smelly gets a vacuum, and it's the V5000 or something. Can't remember what I called it, but it's the vacuum 5000 or something. And she's and so we did the same thing where she was oh my God, it's a like slow it down, and she's like, it's it was the vacuum 1000. Vacuum 1000. It was really funny. That's really, really funny. And we mimicked that because she was so excited about getting her vacuum. And then you're like, who gets that excited about vacuums? Well, that would be I actually like vacuums. I love vacuums, and I can go on about vacuums. And let me tell you, if you put a Dyson, if you say, "Oh, I've got a Dyson," I would say, "Oh, really? You just wasted all your money on a piece of crap," and I hate them. I have literally been in wrestling matches with Dysons. Like, I have literally had fights like trying to make a Dyson work. Like, I didn't understand how you're supposed to pull the thing, like how it's so clunky. It's so not intuitive. And then the other thing is, if it's like a vacuum that has like a battery pack on it, it doesn't charge very long. So it's completely pointless. But people are really proud of their Dysons because, it cost me, this one was $450, and then this upright was a $650. So I paid a lot of money for this. I'm really proud of this. It's like, okay, well, they don't work. So I can go on about, I should do a whole podcast on my hate of Dysons. So this isn't Christmas related, but back in the day when there was photos being taken, and there was a time when they would have to sit there. So all those like old photos that you see, the Victorian and the ones that are, anyway, they never smile. It's because they had to sit there for a long time to get an exposure, and I think that's why. Or maybe they were just all miserable. And but before that, or probably after that, there was a time when the photographer, the word to say prunes, and you can probably, I should look at this, look back at some of the you don't say prune. So then they start saying cheese because that makes you smile. Cheese, say cheese, say prunes, and prunes. Which someone the other day was like, "Oh, prunes, you got to stay regular." And I was like, "Oh yeah, prunes make you go." Like, some people eat prunes just to go dookie. So yeah, you probably don't want to associate prunes. Say prunes. Boy, this family sure looks sad. They don't look very happy. Well, the photographer had them say prunes, please.
Clap on, clap off, the clapper. Available in a bunch of stores.
Okay, who remembers that? The clapper. It was like this device that you sync to or you would hook up to your lights for somehow, and you clap it on and you clap it off. I don't know if I ever experienced a clapper, but it was a thing for a while. It was definitely a thing to clap it on, clap it off. Okay, so we're 23 minutes in. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening. So I have one last thing for you, which is a story that I found in the back of one of my favorite things is the vintage cookbooks. I found this random story tucked away. I bought it at the thrift store, and it was called The Christmas Orange. I thought it was super sweet, so I recorded it, and I'm going to play it for you guys. And if you haven't thought about this or don't know about this, it was a thing to get an orange for Christmas. And there was a time when they weren't as abundant as they are now, and they weren't like $3-4, big old bin. Like, it was a big deal to get an orange for Christmas, especially if you were like poor, especially during the Depression. My mom tells a story about when she was a kid, when they were really poor, and she would get like her cloth, stocking, and her mom would pour ribbon candy. So it's like the ribbon, hard candy, it's shaped like a ribbon, it's kind of thick, and that would be like her Christmas present. So it'd be like hard candy thrown into the bottom of this cloth stocking, and then maybe an orange in there. So it was a big deal. She'd get her orange, and then she'd and she'd get her candy. But all the candy, her mom would just throw it in there, so it would get all there would be bits of fuzz and stuff. She'd have to pick it all out. And I'm like, gosh, geez, couldn't her mom have or my grandma have wrapped it in something? So maybe some wax paper or something where she didn't have to like sit there and dig all of the, she had to like get all the fuzzies out, but she got her candy. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny and kind of sad. And so here we go. Here's the story, the Christmas orange. And by the way, this is going to, I already mentioned this. I'm not putting out another podcast till next year, which is not that far away. We're at like the 20, we're getting ready, wrapping it up maybe 10 days from now. And I'm excited about next year, and I'm going to be taking a break. I'm going to record some music. And so, yeah, until next year, this is my 25th or 26th episode of the year. And thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And I look forward to what's coming. So listen to the story. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a fabulous New Year, and stay safe, have fun, and don't wake up on the first of the year drunk. Don't wake up on the first of the year with a hangover, okay? Cool your jets, because it's bad mojo. Start the new year in a very positive way. That's just my advice to you. But have a good time. Just be smart. All right, love you guys. Until next year, bye-bye.
Jake lived in an orphanage with 9 other young boys. In the wintertime, it seemed any extra money went for coal to heat the old buildings. At Christmas, the building always seemed a little warmer and the food a little more plentiful. But more than this, Christmas meant an orange. It was the only time of year such a rare treat was provided, and it was coveted by each boy like no other thing they had ever possessed. Each boy saved his orange for several days, admiring it, feeling it, loving it, and contemplating the moment he would eat it. Some would even save it until New Year's Day or later, much like many of us would relish saving our Christmas trees and decorations until New Year's, just to remind us of the joy of Christmas. This particular Christmas day, Jake had broken the orphanage rules by starting a fight. The orphanage mother took Jake's orange away as punishment for breaking the rules. Jake spent Christmas Day empty and alone. Nighttime came and Jake would not sleep. Silently, he sobbed because this year he would not have his orange to savor with the other boys. A soft hand placed on Jake's shoulder startled him, and an object was quickly shoved into his hands. The child then disappeared into the dark to leave Jake alone to discover a strange-looking orange. An orange made from segments of 9 other oranges, 9 highly prized oranges that had to be eaten that Christmas night instead of saved, admired, and cherished until a later date. And that is the story of the Christmas orange.